call it fellowship, okay? So what does that mean? Once you enter this business, I don't care if you've been doing this business, meaning network marketing, for 20 years, okay? If I'm going to be your coach, then that means that you have to be willing to be a student. But if the student wants to teach the teacher, then what's the point? They can go do the business on their own then. They don't need me, right? But in Atomy, even though you've done network marketing for 20 years, doesn't mean you did Atomy for 20 years. That's where people get confused. Atomy, you are day one, okay? So, what you have to do is become a good follower, okay? So, you have to learn all that you can as fast as you can. So you go to all the meetings, you go to the channel Atomy, listen to all the videos, you go to Coach Ju's Instagram, right? I always upload like 30-second, 1-minute short videos that talk about all the different values of Atomy, okay? I want you to go in there, absorb everything. Make sense, everyone? Okay? So now, think about this. When you learn and absorb, you then have to apply. Now it's a big difference. Even if you watched, let's say, Coach Ju's compensation plan video 10 times. Okay? Even if you watched Coach Ju's compensation plan 10 times, it doesn't mean you know it until you do the lecture. Make sense? So when you apply what you have learned, and then when you can implement it the Atomy way, then that's when you're done. Then you are allowed to go to the next step. What's the next step? The next step is the builder stage. Okay? So the next step is, now you can split your line. Okay? Now you can make a beeline. So my leaders right now in South Africa, some leaders have more than 900 members in their A line. And they have no beeline. Why? Because they're not at the builder stage yet. They don't know how to build. Meaning, they know how to build theoretically, right? They know the compensation plan. They know, but they don't know yet. Meaning, they can't teach it yet. Okay? So when they can teach it, they'll split and start building their beeline with the network. So when you first come to my leadership group, you have to come with your A line and B line. Okay? And then you start building the A line all together. And the B line starts being built after you learn. That's when we can make true, good, balanced growth. Now, what does that mean? Next, in parentheses, what does builder say? It says that you are now a parent. What? What does that mean? You are now a parent. Okay? So raise your hand if you are a parent. You have a child. Raise your hand. Let me see those hands high. Okay. Good. So if you have a child, then you know what it means to be a parent. But if you don't have a child yet, you will learn what I mean through this lecture, okay? So let me tell you what I mean. Having a child means that you have to sacrifice and do things that maybe you don't want to do, okay? That means that you have to do things that you need to do. But when you're single, you do things that you want to do. You don't do things that you need to do. Does that make sense? If you want to go to the movies tonight, you can go to the movies. Okay? But if you have a little baby, even if you want to go to the movies tonight, you can't. You could, by not thinking about your baby and leaving your baby at home, but then you'd be a terrible parent, right? So what do I mean? What I mean is, you are now the parent of orphans. Okay? What does that mean? That means that when you adopt a child, you can adopt a child who is 1 month old. You can adopt a child who's 5 years old. You can adopt a child who's 15 years old. Each child that you adopt has different abilities. Right? The 1-year-old probably can't even walk yet. They can't feed themselves. But the 5-year-old that you adopted can feed themselves, but still can't cook for themselves. But the 15-year-old that you adopted can probably cook for themselves and feed themselves. Okay? But still, as a parent, you have to have food in the fridge for them. Okay? You have responsibilities now. So when you split your line, you have babies you have to feed. Does that make sense? You have to feed your babies. So if mommy and daddy didn't learn well and don't know how to duplicate, then they cannot feed their babies well. That means that you will have malnutrition in your downline. What happens to malnutrition? The babies get sick. The babies don't know how to grow. And then your business dies. Do you understand? We don't want that. We want big, healthy, nutritious babies. Do you understand? We want healthy babies. And in order for you to get healthy babies, you got to listen to Coach Ju. Okay? And you got to not split your downline and just, woo, I'm going to become rich tomorrow and don't understand anything. Okay? You can't do that. So, if you want to become successful and you want to be a builder, you have to have a parental mindset. You are now a parent. Okay? You are a parent. All right? You are now the proud father, proud mother of a new member. Even if that member is 65 years old, they're your baby. Okay? And members, even though you are 65 years old and I am only 39 years old, I'm still your dad. Okay? You have to listen to me. Does that make sense? That's the mindset and mentality that we need. So let's say that your upline is only 20 years old. It doesn't matter. If they have studied and followed Coach Ju's plan, then they should be 100 years old in Atomy numbers. Does that make sense? Not literally 100, but I'm just saying mature enough to be your parent in the Atomy scheme of things. All right? I'm sure you will be still more mature in life lessons and skills, but what I'm talking about is the Atomy business steps. Because that's all we need, right? You don't need to judge anybody else for anything else. That's all. Okay? Next, we're going to talk about the last and most important step is the leadership part. Now, this is where I want all of us to truly focus our energy and efforts on. Okay, let's read this. It says, leaders. Okay, the last step after you've done all these things and you've duplicated doesn't mean that you'll actually become number 4. Okay? So everybody can get to number 3, but not everybody goes to number 4. Number 4 doesn't automatically happen, leaders. Okay? So let's talk about the number 4. Number 4, it says leader. Just because you are above somebody, okay, does not mean that you are their leader. Just because you registered first before this person doesn't mean that you're their leader. leadership is earned. Okay? So what do I mean? I see a lot of people in the beginning stages, they like to complain. What do they complain about? They say, Coach, my upline, they don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do that. My upline, they don't do this. They don't do that. Well, guys, we can do the best that we can in our group to try to create the best builders in the company. But sometimes it just doesn't work. Okay? So what do I mean? You don't need to look right above, but there will be a leader in your upline. We already have a leader in the South African group that I am confident in calling a leader. We have Zoe and we have Lovemore, and they have been duplicating every step and coaching the system. Okay? So even if you're number 1001, you don't need to say, I don't have a leader, Coach. Nobody's helping me, Coach. Why? Because you already have 2. Now, during that process, maybe you don't have a leader right now, but there will be more leaders who grow because everybody's registering at the same week, same month. So nobody can technically be your leaders right now. They're learning. But Zoe and Lovemore have been registered for more months because they've been coached by me. And then they started registering you. Does that make sense? So they've been registered already. And I've been coaching them already. So now they can coach you. So at least you have one mom and one dad, right? So you're good to go. Okay? You're not orphans. Don't worry. Now, the next step is your mentality. Let's say that mentality doesn't change. You keep saying, Coach, I don't have a leader. I don't have an upline. I don't have anybody helping me. Or they say, that person is no good, Coach. They're not good at this. They're not good at this. Or they don't treat me right with this. Or they don't listen to all my complaints. You know, you have these complaints. Well, if it's been months and you're still complaining, then we first got to look at a little bit of scripture, okay? So I love this. It says, well, what does it say? Let's read it together. It says, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take that speck out of your eye, when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? Do you see where I'm getting at? It says, what, you hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, then you will see clearly to remove the speck. Not even a plank, a speck from your brother's eye. So what I want you to do is I want you to focus on correcting your own faults before pointing the finger at other people. I want you to self-examine yourself. Okay? Because in the Academy motto, it says we have to serve in humility. Okay? Does that make sense, leaders? That's what I want all of us to get to. When we get to this level of understanding, then there's nobody to blame but you. And that's where it becomes powerful. So now, this is the end of my consumer lecture, and we're going to move to the leadership lecture, okay? Now stay, if you want, I'm going to be talking about numbers here next, but stay with me if you want. If you're busy, you got to go home, you can go home, okay? So, next part. Once you take the blame away from somebody else, the only person who you can blame for your inability to succeed is who? Is you. You are the reason why you can't succeed. Now that's powerful. Why is that powerful? That's good. Because then what's the opposite of that? You are the reason why you will become successful then. Wow. You see this? When you keep blaming somebody else about why you can't succeed, that also means that your success is dependent on somebody else. Does that make sense? Since you believe that you aren't succeeding because of this person, then if you think about it deeply, that means that because of that person, you're unable to become successful. Meaning that you are putting your future in that person's hand. That's not what we want. I want you to have control of your future. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? What does that mean? That means that you have the power to choose. Today, you have the power to choose to go out and make new consumers. You have the power to do that. You can't say, my leader, my upline won't come with me to go make new consumers. What? Your leader won't go with you? So let's break that down. What does that mean? That means that you are not confident in going by yourself. Okay, that's a legitimate reason. So then, since we know what the problem is the lack of confidence. What does lack of confidence mean? Lack of understanding. So if you can study, then that means that your confidence will go up. And if your confidence goes up, that means that you can go out by yourself. Now, what do you think will be faster? To study yourself approved, to make yourself knowledgeable, to bring confidence into your life, or to wait for somebody else to do that for you? If you're waiting, then you don't want success. You want a lottery ticket. You understand? You're not willing to put in the effort. But what did I say? Step 1 in Atomy is effort. We don't require ability from you, but we want effort. Does that make sense? We want effort. Okay? So now, once you have this understanding of what to do, then you can go out and make that consumer. Okay? You can go out and build your downline. Now, since you have this confidence that you know you will become successful, there's nothing that's stopping you. So, what does this mean? Think about it. If you think deeply, what this means is do what you can control and forget the rest. Okay? Can you control the actions of somebody else? No. What can you control? Your actions. Can you control when Atomy will open in South Africa? No. But what you can do is control your actions that will work towards the data that will show that Atomy South Africa needs to open. That's what you can control. You have to do what you can control and ignore the rest. Today you can wake up and choose to use your 2 hours of free time that you have after work to watch Netflix. Or you can choose to watch Channel Atomy. If you watch Channel Atomy, you'll be able to gain more knowledge. Build your business. Have more confidence. The choice is yours. But many leaders I talk to, they keep asking over and over, Coach, when's South Africa going to open? Coach, when can I get the products? Coach, I can't do this. I can't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, only focus on what you can control. The energy that you spend texting me, Coach, when's Atomy South Africa opening? You should use that energy to say, hey, did you hear about Atomy? You should join. That's one more consumer you could have made instead of messaging me. Why? Because we know that we will open South Africa. Just like my Morocco team, right? In the beginning, the Morocco team had zero plans to open. But they had faith and trust in me and the leadership that we will be able to get it done, right? But South Africa, you guys are different. We know South Africa is going to open. It's on the map. It's on the list. Morocco was never on the map. It was never on the list. So you're going to open. Don't worry. But you want me to tell you a secret. The longer South Africa is delayed, it's better for you. See, people don't understand this. Why? Because you have time to build your structure. You have time to what? Register all the people. It's during the uncertainty that you get to grow. But let's say that South Africa is already going to open. Then guess what happens? Then now you have so many more leaders you have to compete with. All the other leaders in the other companies, right? Who already have 100,000 members. When they hear Atomy is going to open, they're going to be like, okay, I'm switching to Atomy, and they're going to absorb more people. So you have to tell everybody, when they say, when's South Africa going to open? You say, I don't know. Because that's a better answer. So this is wisdom that I'm sharing with you. Okay? So, now, remember the money aspect that we were talking about. Okay? So let's do some real numbers. So, Coach, I want to know, how can I make money in Atomy? Okay? I want to know, Coach, how can I make money? Good. I'll teach you. All right. So I asked you, how much are you making right now? Some of you guys answered maybe $400 a month, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month. Coach, I make $100,000 a month, right? Whoever you are, I'm going to give you a goal now. I'm going to open your eyes and show you how to make money in Atomy. Are you ready? Are you excited? Are you excited? I hope you're excited. All right? Now I'm going to teach you the numbers. Now, all of you go to Coach Ju at my Instagram and go to Coach Ju at YouTube and watch the detailed compensation plan video, okay? I'm not going to be able to go in detail right now. I'm just going to tell you the numbers, okay? So we're going to work with logic today, okay? So when you build the network, let's say that you only know 10 people. Coach, I only know 10 people, which I know that is a lie, right? You know more than 10 people, right? If you go into your phone, and you click contacts, if you only have 10 people in your contacts, I believe you. But nobody that I know, even my okay, fourth grade son has more than 10 people in his phone, okay? He knows more than 10 people, okay? So I know everybody in this room, you know more than 10 people. Now, let's really say you don't. But, Coach, I really don't know 10 people. Okay. If you go outside, you will be able to see more than 10 people a day. Problem solved. Okay? Now you know 10 people. Okay? So, let's look at the numbers. Let's say that you are at $400 a month right now. Okay, Coach? I've been working. I work a 9 to 5. I'm making $400 a month. How can I make $400 a month in Atomy? What does that look like, Coach? Okay, let's look. So let's say that you are here and you have a A line and a B line. So in Atomy, you get paid according to your smaller group. Okay? So when somebody buys a product, they get something called a PV. And the PV is usually 50% of the value of the product. Okay? So when you buy a $100 product, it's usually 50,000 PV. When you buy a $300 product, it's usually about 150,000 PV. Okay? Give or take about 40 to 50%. And when we do promotions, it can go even as high as 80%. Okay? So what you're doing is you're building consumers who can use your product. Okay? And in Atomy, you get paid every single day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 days. And then you have 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31 days. So every single day, you can get paid. Okay? Every single day, you can get paid. Now, that doesn't mean that you will get paid every single day. In the beginning, well, actually, when the company opens in South Africa, many of you will start getting paid every single day because your network will be that big, right? But every single day, you can start gaining points. In Atomy, we call this manual sales master. And your goal is to go to a auto sales master. Let me, okay. So, pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. I'm teaching you the secrets, okay? Auto Sales Master means ASM. Auto Sales Master. What does an Auto Sales Master mean? I'm an Auto Sales Master. Meaning that every single day, I do nothing and I get paid thousands of dollars. What? Yes. Now, this is not special if you think about business. For example, let's say that I own a restaurant, and it's a big restaurant. I got a manager, I got assistant managers, okay? I got employees, about 100 employees in my restaurant. It's a big restaurant. It's 3 stories tall. It's a huge building. I don't have to go to work. Does that make sense? And still, people come to the restaurant. I don't have to hold a sign outside saying, come eat at my restaurant, right? People already know and have come. I already got regulars. But in the beginning, you were a manual business, meaning you had to work towards that. You had to market. You had to tell, word of mouth. You had to work. Does that make sense? So we are all manual sales masters, meaning we're going out there and we're saying, hey, have you ever made money brushing your teeth before? And your friends are going to say, what? What do you mean? Of course I've never made money brushing my teeth before, right? But you're telling them about Atomy. That's the marketing part. And when you do a lot of marketing, you say, hey, you need to switch your toothbrush to Atomy toothbrush. Why? Well, because is your toothbrush gold-plated? They say, no. Why do I need a gold-plated toothbrush? Did you know that the bathroom is the dirtiest place in your house? Then what do you mean? Every time you flush the toilet, what happens? Ooh, water comes up, evaporates, and then where does it fall? It falls on your toothbrush. And if it falls on your bristle that it does not have gold flakes in it, then the bacteria remains. But in Atomy, we kill 99.9% of all bacteria that falls on your toothbrush and from your mouth. And it's what? Less than $1 a toothbrush. So, do you need to use Atomy toothbrush? Yes or no? Of course, yes. So let's say that you built hundreds of toothbrush and toothpaste users in your downline. There's no reason for them not to join because it's free. There's no reason for them not to use the toothbrush because it's high in quality, high in price. And even if it's more expensive than the one that they're using, they don't want to put dirty toothbrushes in their mouth anymore after you told them that, right? So now you have PV. Okay? And once you have PV, it starts to accumulate. Okay? So let's say that you have this person who buys PV, buys product and they get PV, 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 PV. And the first payout is 300K PV. So once you get 300K PV, okay, you get 15 points. So what does points equate to? So let's say about $4 a point multiplied by 15, okay? So you get about $60 on your first payout, okay? So what does that mean for you then? Okay? That means that every single day in this calendar that you get 15 points, you get how much? $60. Wow. Now talk about amazing. Okay? So if your network is not big enough yet and you don't have enough consumers, then you won't be able to achieve this. But some of you already do. So now let's do the math. All right, coach, how many days is that? That's 15 days multiplied by $60, right? That's one period. Now, I'm going to tell you about the periods here soon, okay? So simply put, that's $900 every 15 days, or how much is that? $1,800 a month. But let's say out of the month, you only got 15 days. Not out of the 30 days. You only got 15 days. You're already at 900. Okay? Does that make sense? But you said to me, Coach, I'm making $400. Well, guess what? Out of the 30 days, you only have to match 7 days. Yeah. Only 7 days. So what does that mean? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just randomly. It doesn't even need to be every other day. I'm going to erase these green circles, okay? I should have drew them bigger. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like this. So if you only got paid 7 times in 1 month, you're already making $400. Is that doable? Yes. You can go out and you can sell Hemohim, you can sell the skincare, make consumers, build a team, work together, and there you go. Now let's go back to what I was saying. All of you know more than 10 people. What did I say? All of you know more than how many? 10 people. So what does that mean? Anatomy, this is you. And let's say that you know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, how many people do they know? They should also know a minimum of 10 people. Right? Yeah. That's why you guys were able to register 1,000 people in less than 2 weeks. 2-3 weeks, 1,000 people already. It's not all one person's person. It's other people's people. Does that make sense? So now, it's not you working alone. This is the power of franchising. Okay? Now your business is franchised. Now you don't just have 10 people. You have 10 leaders. Make sense? Good. Now let's say that you are getting paid every single day. You're already at $1,800 a month. But in Atomy, we have something called an auto sales master. So once you become a sales master, that means that you get an extra $400 every 15 days. So how does the sales master work? It's simple. For 1st to the 15th, if you're able to accumulate a total of 2.5 million PV in your A and in your B, then you are a sales master. So in this room today, right now, we have a Star Master and we have a Diamond Master in this room. And we have a Sharon Rose Master. Right? Who else we have in here? Yeah, we have multiple leaders in here already. Okay? So these leaders have accomplished these masterships and have made this income. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? Okay? Now, for the more detailed compensation plan, go to the website. Okay? But now, let's look at if you are able to create this much income, that means that you're not doing it alone. Okay? That's not doing it alone. That means you're doing it with other leaders already, meaning that your PV is not your ability. Oh, okay, here we go. Now, think about this. Your PV that you've generated is out of your hand now. So think about this. There's a hill, there's a mountain, okay? And you're pushing a rock up the mountain, okay? When you're pushing it up the hill, it's hard, okay? But when you get to the top of the mountain, okay? Let's think about it as a snowball. It's a better analogy. You're rolling the snowball up the mountain, up the mountain, up the mountain. It's getting harder and harder because the snowball is getting bigger and bigger. Okay? That's the weight of leadership, okay? But you get to the top. You get to the top. Your snowball's huge. But then, with just a little push, because you're at the top now, just a little push, what happens to that snowball? It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger with 0% of your effort. Because it has taken up the momentum of the system. So once you get to an auto sales master, it's that snowball. It's really hard to become a true auto sales master. Meaning every single day you're hitting 300K, 700K, every single day, and every 15 days, you have more than 5 million PV on your A and B line. You're an overflowing sales master. Once you get to that spot, your success is inevitable. It can't go backwards. It's like pushing the snowball down the hill. Is the snowball ever going to come back up the hill? No, physics does not work like that. Okay? Your snowball is going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing until it goes to the bottom of the hill. That's Imperial Master. Once you get to Auto Sales Master and you keep growing and growing and growing, the next part, it's hard getting up that hill. But once you get up to the hill, it's just boop, with one finger. Where's that snowball going? Down the hill on its own. And it keeps growing. Okay? So now let's look at the PV as it keeps growing. What does that look like for us then? As the PV keeps growing, you're going to get to what? Not just 15 points a day, but now 30 points a day. So what does 30 points. Let's do the math. Let's take the calculator out, everybody. Let's do the math together so it's fun. You got 30 points, okay? Multiply that by, let's say, 26 days, okay? We'll give ourselves a buffer room. So 26 times 30 points is 780 points. Okay? 780 points times $4, because 1 point equates to around $4, is what? $3,100. 3,102. Right? $3,120. Now, what did I say? You're a sales master. Okay? So, plus, how much? Plus another $800. So how much is that, ladies and gentlemen? $39.20. Wow! Almost $4,000 a month. Now let's multiply that by a year. That's $47,000. Okay? Zoe, Lovemore, post that in your dollars. Okay? So people have a better understanding. Okay? Oh, already did it. There, you're already reading my mind. All right? So there you go. How much is that? Equates to 67 million or 67,000 rand. 67,000, is that right? You read it, okay? So, tell me, that's the first rank. Guys, first rank. Now in this room, everybody in this room, can you do this? Of course you can do this. And how much time do we have to do this? You got over 2 years. Make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. So what you're doing right now is not wasting time. What you're doing is you are investing in your future. Every single month, what you're doing is you're saving. You're putting money in your savings account right now. You just can't touch it right now. Does that make sense? Every time you're making consumers, getting the products, teaching, duplicating, you're putting money in your bank. Did you know that? And as soon as South Africa opens, your money's going to come in. So you're not wasting 2 years. You're not wasting 3 years. You're doing it now. This is the same concept for a business owner. So let me teach you. Let me teach you what I mean. If you got a job, so how easy is it to get a job paying $47,000 a year in South Africa right now? Pretty easy? Pretty normal? In the US? Pretty easy. In the Philippines? Not so easy. Okay, because we got leaders here in the Philippines. I think in South Africa, not so easy. Okay? But let's say that you are getting 47,000 USD a year, 3,900 a month. Do you think you got that from just a job application and then next month you're getting this money? No. You're getting that money because you have a bachelor's, you have a master's, you have work experience. That means that you have invested more than 10 years of your life. After 10 years, you start getting that money if you get a good job. You understand? So, 2 years, 3 years, building your Atomy business is nothing. Even if it takes you 10 years to become an auto sales master, it's nothing. It's well worth it. Do you agree? Yes. Because, what did I say? It's a snowball. Once you get to that point, your income, it's not 47,000 a year, guys. It's 47,000 a month. Wow. Wow. Can you imagine that? No matter how many years you work at your job, they're not going to pay you $47,000 a month. Okay? Your yearly salary of $47,000 will not turn into $47,000 a month. Okay? So, do you need to focus on anatomy? Yes. This is only the second pay. Now let's do some more fun math. Okay? Now let's say you're starting to get 60 points. 60 points. What's 60 points? 60 times 26 is 1,560. Now what do? You multiply that by 4. Now you're at how much? $6,240 a month. But now you're not a sales master anymore. Now you're a diamond master. That means that you have 2 leaders on your A, 2 leaders on your B, who are making $47,000 a month right now. I mean, a year. Now you have 4 leaders in your downline making $47,000 a month. I mean, a year. So you're not just making that money by yourself. You got 2 and 2. You got other leaders in your downline making $47,000 a year. $3,920 a month with you now. And how much are you making now then? You're making $6,240 in just the bonuses. But now you're making an extra, let's say about $1,500 in mastership bonus. So let's do the math. That's $7,740 a month. That's $92,000 a year. That means that you are going to make $100,000 a month in the next 3 months after you achieve this, because it's going to keep snowballing. What did I say? I said in 1.5 years I started making this. Wow. Wow. Now we'll do one more math. One more. Okay? 90 points. Remember, we go all the way to 300 points, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't want to excite you too much. We'll just do 90. 90 will be the last one we touch upon until we go to the next one, okay? So let's do 90. 90 times 26 days is 2,340. $2,340 points. Multiply that by 4. 9,360. Now you're not just a diamond master. Remember, sales master. Now you're a Sharon Rose master, meaning that you now have more leaders in your downline. Now you have more than 4 leaders making $97,000 a year in your downline. And Sharon Rose masters make about $2,000 every period. So that's another $4,000. That's $13,360 a month. That's $160,000 a year. So what is that? How much is $160,000 a year? Write that in the comments. How much is that? $160,000 a year. And that's only rank number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Only rank number 3. I am rank number Sales Master, Diamond Master, Sharon Rose Master, Star Master, Royal Master. I'm rank number 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm only rank number 5. Okay? So now, think about this, okay? Is it better to do Atomy for 10 years, even if you only got paid $100 a month, than to do your 9 to 5? Of course. Even if it takes you 10 years to become an auto sales master, do it. Okay? Even if it takes you 20 years to get to Sharon Rosemaster, what I just told you, do it. Because it's going to snowball. It's going to grow. This is the power of Atomy. Why? Because we don't have expenses. You can keep doing the business. Because we have a system set in place where everybody can learn and do the business and grow. Because Atomy caters to true quality products and price. Can you believe this? Can you believe that in Atomy you're making this kind of money passively? Okay? Not actively. You guys don't understand the difference, okay? Even if you make $200,000 a year and you're working for Google, okay? You're working for Microsoft. It doesn't matter if you get fired. It doesn't matter if you break your leg. It doesn't matter. Because once you can't go to work, once you get fired, your income is gone. That's why, even though you're making $200,000 a year, they don't live like they're making $200,000 a year. Why? Because they could lose their job. So if they have, let's say, $10,000 worth of debt every single month, and then they lose their job, now they are what? Bankrupt. That's why, even though they're making $200,000 a year, they don't live luxuriously. They can't. But guess what? In Atomy, next month, your money's still coming in. Next month, your money's still coming in. Next month, your money's still coming in. You can't get fired. It's done. You're free. And let's say that you die. Let's say that next month you died. You went to go be with the Lord. Well, if you had a regular business, if you worked at Google, if you die, your paycheck stops, your family doesn't get your help anymore. Let's say that I work at Google and I died. Do I get a salary? No. Can I give that salary to my wife? No. But guess what? If I die, my wife gets the salary. It doesn't matter. But let's say my wife also dies. It doesn't matter. My son gets the salary. And let's say that my son grows old and then he dies. What does it matter? My grandson gets the salary. Oh my goodness. Don't tell me you know anything better than Adam. There isn't. Okay? Even if it takes you 30 years to become auto sales master, I don't care. You need to become an auto sales master. Does that make sense? Because it doesn't stop at you. It goes and goes and goes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the power of Atomy. So if your business is growing at a slow rate, who cares? Keep growing. Because one day you may wake up and you will register one person, but that one person registers 10,000 people. And then that 10,000 people, they all become auto sales masters. And one day you are now Auto Sales Master. Because in Atomy you get 100% of all the downline growth, all the downline effort, all the downline PV. So it doesn't matter. So Atomy is powerful because we allow you the power to leverage others' ability. So what does that mean? Until now, all these companies kept tricking you and saying, you have to pay rent. You have to pay every month. You have to maintain your account. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do this. Right? They lied to you. And today, I exposed them. I showed you why that's not true. Next, what they try to do is they try to steal your ID. They say, oh, after you die, I can't give you the ID to your wife. That doesn't make sense. She doesn't deserve it. And then they steal your ID. And then the ID that's generating the income, the company takes it. Did you know that? They have no reason to take it, but they take it. Yeah. That's what these companies are doing to you, and you don't even know it. You think it's normal. It's not normal. Okay? But Atomy is free. The products are great. The system is set in place. You don't have to have any special skills. All you have to do is step 1 of the 8 steps to success. Go to my Coach Jew channel, type in 8 steps to success, and watch my video. Okay? Setting a goal and having that dream and vision. That's all you need. Every time you wake up, just eat your dream. Sales master. I'm ready to go, right? Every time you wake up, you say, I am a sales master. I am a diamond master. You speak that into your life. What did I say? I said, leaders, you control your future. God has given you free will to do what you want. That's why we can go to hell or we can go to heaven. You choose. You can be poor or you can be successful. It's your choice, guys. God's not controlling you. You have the choice to create financial freedom. Am I saying that Atomy is the only way? No. There's many other tools in the world that you can make money with. But I just so happened to meet Atomy. And I saw all the benefits of Atomy. And then I saw that I can help other people in Atomy who lack ability. Remember, I was a professor before doing Atomy. Becoming a professor in South Korea was extremely difficult. Not everybody can become a professor here. But what am I saying? That had nothing to do with my Atomy growth, though. Even though you're a professor means nothing in Atomy. You can be homeless and still become successful in Atomy. Really? You can be homeless and still become successful in Atomy. The top leader of India right now, he was poor. He had no car, no income, but he heard the vision of Atomy. And he lived in a faraway village, not main city. So he got on his bike every single day and went and talked to all the neighbors and registered more than 40,000 people. And now he's a Sharon Rose Master. He's not poor anymore. Yeah. And the opposite. I know people who are rich in Atomy. who have buildings and buildings